Hi guys. Welcome to the first video where you are going to be creating your first Java class, right? So let's start. So the first thing I need to do is to create a folder, right? I'll have my class. So I'll call this Java, first Java code, right? Yeah, the name that you give to the folder can literally be anything, right? But I just wanted to go with first Java code. And then inside of this file or folder, you then want to create a file, right? So yeah, let's quickly create a file. So I think before I do that, uh, make sure that your your Explorer also shows the file name extensions, right? So that we can change that to Java, right? So yeah, I'll say new, then I'll say txt document. Now, at this moment, I haven't changed that to Java, but I'm going to go inside and I'll write the code for my Java class. So yeah, so let's give this a name. So I'll say this is, first of all, a class, and the name of this class is HelloMoshe, right? Uh, Being my name translated into Hebrew. Then inside of this class HelloMoshe, I'm going to create a method. And what this method does is execute the code, right, that's inside of it. And this method, given that it's going to be a main method, is the same method that will allow you to run a complex solution, because that will be the entry point of the entire program. So this will always be the case. So first of all, this has to be public, right? Even though we did not define or even induce the actual access modifier for our class, the one for our main method always has to be public, so that when this is converted into bytecode, right, our computer is able to access this method in order for it to run the piece of code, right, that's inside of it. Right, so let's just quickly do that. So we say this is going to be a public method that has to be static, then it has no return type, it has to be void. So yeah, void means we're not returning anything, but we're expecting this piece of code to run. Then the name of it, or the name of the method, is going to be main. Then inside of the brackets, and the brackets is what really shows you that this is a method, right? Anything with this sort of format will always be a method, because sometimes a method can even have something inside of it called an argument. Some also call it a parameter, right? And it can be anything, right? I know I said rags. A lot of times you'll see it as args, but really, it really does not matter, right? The name you give to a chair, because this will always be a variable. But what's important is its data type. What am I receiving inside that method, right? But that's obviously a story for another day. Just make sure that you have this line, because this is then the entry point of the program. And inside of it, we want to print out something. So we're going to say System.out print line. So this is going to be ln. And because this is also a method, it's going to have open, close, right? Round brackets. And then inside of it, we want to pass something, because we want this to be printed back to us, right? So what we want to print out is this text, hello Moshe. HelloMoshe is what we want to print back to ourselves so we know that our class is working and the code that we wrote is actually working. Yeah. So notice I said sometimes here you'll have it written as args, args, but it does not matter because this is a variable name, right? So I'll even say test here to show you that if you do see it different to the ones that you'll see when you are actually creating a new class, a Java class that's generated for you, that it won't break. But yeah, at this time, this line here allows us to print this text, right? So inside of this method, right, denoted by these two, we wanted to print this out for us, right? And then inside of this class, right, inside of the main method, which is the entry point of our program, we want this to happen. So obviously we now know that this is going to print hello Moshe. It's going to go to the class and say, listen, what do you want me to do? And then the main method is going to be like, yeah, well, I just want to, print hello Moshe, and hello Moshe needs to be printed out. So we're going to save this. Now, after we save it, we're not done. Notice that the name of the actual class is not the same name that's given to the document. So now we need to make sure that this is consistent. So we are going to edit this to that, and we're also going to change this txt file extension to Java. That's the only name. Yeah, that's the only right name that's given to a Java file that Java will recognize as code that needs to be compiled into bytecode. If the extension is not Java, then the file won't work and the code won't work. So yeah, we need to obviously make sure that that change is persisted there. So now it's hello Moshe, right? Same name that you give to the class. Dot Java, meaning that this is Java code. Now, inside of the same folder, we want to now open the terminal. How do we do that? Go onto your path here and then type cmd, right, which is the command prompt. Enter, then this is going to open the command prompt for you, right, within the folder that you want it to be opened, right, which is this folder. Then what I want to do, first of all, I want to check if I do have Java installed. How do I do this? You go Java space dash or hyphen version, and you click on enter. Right? Actually click on enter twice there. That's why you're seeing that on top, or rather you're seeing that there. So now it gives you the version that's installed on my machine, right? Which is Java SE8. Yeah, the version 1.8.0 underscore 332. That's actually considered to be the Java Standard Edition 8. Then here, what I'll do is clear this by typing CLS. After I type CLS, let me just drag this down a bit. I want you to notice something. We only have one file in this folder. Now I want to compile my code, right, that I have into actual bytecode so that the machine can execute it. So how do we do this? We need to utilize a Java compiler by typing javac. Javac is the compiler, and then click on tab on your keyboard, right? It's above the caps lock. Click on tab. Then it's going to scan the folder to check which files are there. If you have more than one file, it's going to be able to pick up all the files. So just click on tab, tab, tab until you get to the actual file that you want to compile, right? But for this example, your folder must only have one file, so you won't have to click on tab so many times. And then you click on enter. When you click on enter, notice that a second file is going to be created in the same folder. Now, this has a different file extension of the class because this is the bytecode that's been compiled from our Java class. So now for us to run that code, right, we need to click on, or we need to type Java because we are using Java. then we need to say compile, right, that particular file. Now, ideally, you don't need to have this extension of the class, because automatically when you say Java, then you give a name. Java will go looking for a class that matches the same name as the one you put here. Then it's going to run that bytecode for you. So that's how this will be able to work. So java.HelloMoshe is going to print out HelloMoshe for us. And as you can see, we were able to accomplish that. And yeah, so this is pretty much your first Java